Senator Roger Marshall. How does this impact American families?
Well, already American families are paying $1,000 a month more because of inflation. But if Joe Biden is still in office come November, come December, he's going to raise your taxes. The average tax rate in America now is about 17.5%. When Joe Biden's through with this, it'll be 20.5%. It'll disproportionately impact small businesses, LLCs and S-corps, because you would lose your research and development tax breaks, you would lose your interest expense tax break, as well as capital expense, writing that down as well. So it'll impact all those and will drive businesses down, drive jobs down. It'll hurt the economy.
Senator, I want to talk about President Biden's latest student debt handout. Listen to Missouri's Attorney General earlier on Varney.
It's a separation of powers issue. The Constitution gives the power of the purse to the legislative branch, not the executive branch. And unless Congress explicitly authorizes this redistribution of wealth, it's illegal. President Biden keeps pointing to these vague references in statute saying that somehow he has authority to redistribute this wealth. But the court has found that Congress never explicitly authorized this.
You know, the left used to talk about packing the court, but I think now what they're just trying to do is ignore it completely and do an end run around it. And the result is you lose the separation of powers that's central to the Constitution. Senator, this looks like a problem that could be far bigger than just student debt if we stick with this precedent.
Right. So once upon a time, a president would be embarrassed that he wrote an executive order that the Supreme Court said was unconstitutional. But the President Biden wasn't satisfied with that. He waved his nose at the Supreme Court. He's done it again. Not only is it unconstitutional, it's not fair. Many of us made different choices. When we were in medical school, my wife and I chose to join the Army rather than borrow money. Less than half of Americans borrowed money for college. Nobody out there thinks it's fair. And by the way, the biggest botched rollout I've seen since the ACA was rolled out is this department's rollout of their financial aid form for college, the FAFSA form. It's a huge debacle right now. They should be focusing on getting that issue right rather than fulfilling campaign promises.
Senator Marshall, can I ask you about the Mayorkas impeachment this afternoon? You're working with Senator Cruz to hold a press conference on this issue. We're waiting to see what Chuck Schumer does. He has the ability to completely kill it if he wants to. And loosely related to this is that we've got a crisis on our hands. We don't know who's coming into this country. In Dearborn, Michigan, you have people chanting death to America. A lot of sort of pockets of hate popping up. And it's a huge issue. We talked about climate change maybe not being a priority for people. Border certainly is, sir.
Yeah, the number one concern of Americans right now is our national security, is this open southern border. And this issue is so toxic that Chuck Schumer refuses to let an impeachment trial occur on the Senate floor. This will be the first time in the history of the Senate impeachment articles are delivered that there's not an impeachment trial, that they don't want this on the front page. It hurts his senator candidate up in Montana and Ohio, Nevada, Wisconsin, Michigan. So it kills them. It really hurts Joe Biden come the November election as well. So they don't want this to be the story of the day. But we're going to do everything to keep this story going and demand an impeachment trial. Realize this, it would just take 2 Senate Democrats to demand this impeachment trial. So if they vote to table this, that's like voting in favor of an open border.
Right.
Okay, Senator, thank you so much for bringing and continuing to shed light on these issues. Appreciate it.